Wondering how you moved, I guess, from those experiences of being kind of undervalued, underestimated, to where you are now, which among some of the things I know, you're a disability reporter at Parliament House, and you've co-written and created an amazing SBS sort of series about disability and relationships. So how did you get from that kid in primary school who was told that nothing much would happen in your life to where you are now, do you think?
I've always loved learning, and even though I couldn't read until I was 14, again, due to people just not caring enough to teach me how to read. But I've always loved learning, and I've always loved media, and, growing up, everyone asks you, what do you want to be when you grow up? And I'd always say an actor or something in the entertainment field. And I always joke that, I could never hold down a normal job, and somehow the working in media is more stable for me than working as a waitress or working, in a quote-unquote average environment.
That's really interesting, because would you say that kind of goes against the perceptions that maybe people have, that the media is an incredibly difficult industry to crack, if you like, but for you, you can see some stability. Tell me more about that.
Yeah, I think that's why, that's my parents did kind of say, oh, do you really want to go into that? And I'm like, well, no one else will have me, and the only thing I'm good at is writing and talking, and it seemed more of a sustainable pathway than acting. So I did that, but I think someone actually said to me that once you've got your foot in the door in this industry, it's all kind of upwards from there.
Yeah.
But yeah.
I wonder if there must be a fairly significant dose of determination, Emma, in the experiences that you have had so far.
Oh, look, you call it determination, I call it stubbornness. I think that's a bit of both in me. As I said, I've always loved learning and standing up for people who can't stand up for themselves. And so, and being told no, I would always say, don't tell me what I can't do. And so it's just kind of, I do it for myself, don't get me wrong, but I think there's always a little bit in everyone that's been told no, that they're like, well, I'm going to prove you wrong. But yeah, I've always loved creating content, and I've always loved kind of using my work as a kind of outlet to educate people or re-educate people on what we can achieve.
Fantastic. Can we come back to your comment about wanting to, fight for people that are unable to fight for themselves and speak for themselves? One of the things we love to talk about on this podcast is human rights, and you describe yourself as a disability advocate, I think. So where might human rights and your sense of them fit into the work that you do?
Well, disability rights are human rights, and vice versa. Like, there is no distinction between the two. We are first and foremost human, just the same as anyone else. We all have a heartbeat, and we all deserve to live our lives as equal to the rest of the world. And so a lot of my work stems from, human rights that are being taken advantage of and taken advantage of, and so, whatever the news story is on TV or on the radio or in print, I kind of take that and spin it in a disability-centric angle and say, okay, well, this is affecting everyone, but there seems to be the assumption or kind of a lack of communication that it also affects people with disability in several other ways to the rest of the world.
Yeah.
And a lot of the time I feel we get left behind or left out of that conversation. And so I see it as my job. And so I see it as not only my job but my duty to advocate for those who can't.
Mm. There's the disability, rights slogan, nothing about us without us. It sounds like that might be at the heart of what you're doing.
Oh, definitely. That's above my desk and it's in my brain every second of every day in every decision that I make.
What would you say to other people with disability who might want to be more involved in a more collective sense of bringing about change?
Get behind other people with disability and bring your non-disabled friends, colleagues, family, even strangers, because we're powerful when we're in a group, but what's even more powerful is people, able-bodied people who are standing behind us, supporting us in our plight, whatever it may be, because disability is the only minority group that anyone can become a part of at any given time. So I think that's a powerful kind of thing to think about, but I also think that it's why people don't want to look at us, because it's like they're looking at their own mortality.